Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making Hunter's Season 1 armor from the Bad Batch. This will be a 3-part series and today's video will focus on the leg armor. This entire cosplay is made from cardboard. I wish I could afford materials like foam and warbler, but at the moment I can't. But I do think that this is a good way to show new cosplayers you don't need all the fancy materials to make really effective realistic cosplays. I made all of the templates to my body using the classic technique of cling film and tape. I started with my shins, making the pattern and cutting it out. Be careful not to cut yourself or your clothes, because I did do that. I transferred the pattern to paper and cut it out, and I added small allowances along the sides so that the armor isn't skin tight to the point I can't move or it doesn't fit. I taped the pieces together and tried it on, making sure that everything does fit and sit where it should. I should mention that when I made the pattern, I was wearing my heels because I would wear the heels with the costume, and wearing heels does affect the shape of your leg. I then moved to my thigh, wrapping the cling film and taping it before drawing out the pattern and cutting it off. This is where I cut my clothes. I did snip a hole into my thumb or leggings, which is why I shall say again, be careful when cutting out patterns. Like before, I transferred it onto paper and taped it together to try on. Again, adding the extensions to the sides to size it up a bit. I wasn't happy with it, however. I found the top to be too low on my thigh, so I extended it and fixed it very easily. And here I am trying on all the parts. The knee pad you see is not the final pattern, it is a placeholder. I just wanted to get a visual. Once I was satisfied with the pattern, I moved on to transferring the paper pattern to the cardboard. This cardboard was saved from moving houses back in the summer. I used a box knife to cut it out. Be careful when using a box knife, they are very sharp. I also transferred and cut the shoe armor pattern I made. My shoes are brown and not black, so making this additional armor helped hide that. I hot glued all of the pieces together and covered the seams with masking tape to smooth the edges out a bit. I went through a lot of hot glue during this video, so be sure to have a lot on hand. This step is time consuming and can be fiddly since the cardboard is very rigid, so be patient. On the shin armor there is a raised section on the front, so I used more cardboard, which is conveniently already in the right shape. I didn't notice until after I paper mache'd it that this part was wrong, but I will get to that later. And my cat tea cake also made an appearance during this. Once again, I reinforced the edges with masking tape. Now here is where I made the knee pads. I made up the pattern from reference pictures and played around with it until I was happy. Then, like always, I transferred the paper pattern to cardboard before cutting out and hot gluing it together. The armoured underpants were funny. I planned out how I would make it and made a mini version before attempting to make the life-size one. And like before, I transferred the paper pattern onto cardboard and cut it out. And I hot glued and masking taped the edges. And with that, the base of my armor is complete. As you can see, it fits me very well. I did make a few tiny tweaks here and there to help it fit better, but that's more of a personal preference. Next, I worked on the holster for my blaster. The blaster I made is from a kid's toy for my Bo-Katan cosplay a few years ago. The holster pattern was made and cut from cardboard with hot glue as well. I didn't film it, but I did add detail shapes to the armoured underpants as Hunter has. I paper mache'd all of the armor next. I used a mix of PVA glue and water, and I eyeballed the ratio because I've done it so many times that I know what consistency the liquid needs to be. I ripped up the paper into smaller pieces and dipped them into the mixture before beginning to cover the armor. Smaller pieces of paper makes it easier to handle and easier to work around the small details. Once that was finally dry, I did paint a coat of Mod Podge to smooth it out. Next, I added a closed-end zip to the shin armor pieces so that I could put the armor on over my shoes. I simply hot glued them on. I added on the elastic to the shoe armor pieces before painting it. I don't know why, I just did. It didn't get in the way at all. For Christmas I was given an airbrush machine, and I know I said that you don't need the fancy equipment, but I was very excited to use it, so I forgot to film me painting the armor. I spray painted a black base coat and used a dark grey on the airbrush machine to give the armor some shading and toning. I think it really gave the effect Hunter's armor has in the show. Here is where you can see where I went back to fix the shape of the shins that I mentioned before. You can see me removing tape and paper from the shins. That's because the shins have this strip down the center that is a lighter grey, so I made sure to do that as well. A detail that I loved to do was the red stripes on Hunter's armor. I drew guidelines on the armor before I masked it off, and I used dark maroon red acrylic paint and sponged it on. I sponged it because I loved the effect it gave. The colour was applied unevenly and it gave the art style the show was in. When I removed the masking tape, it was so satisfying because it looked so good. One of the final steps is to weather the armor. I used a silver acrylic paint and dry brushed it along the edges. I made this up as I went, but I did keep in mind the logical places weathering would be. It was so fun to do this step, it really brought the character to life. Alongside the red stripes of the armor are shadows and a few detailed parts that I added. Small details like this can really show the effort and bring the realism to the cosplay. The final step is to attach the thigh pieces to the armoured underpants. I use elastic to do this so that I could still move around without worrying about being restricted or it falling apart. I had to have my mum help me here because I couldn't see fully past the holster. I hot glued it and made small adjustments to get everything to sit where I wanted. And that is it. Leg Armour is completely finished, and I am so proud about how it came out. I think it looks just like Hunter's does in the show, and it fits surprisingly well, and is surprisingly easy to move in. Sitting is a different story though. It's very difficult and kind of uncomfortable. The only thing I may do is add a waist stabilizer because the armoured underpants keeps tilting forwards and getting stuck under my corset. And I did suspect this would happen since the underpants sit on my hips, not my waist. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I post part 2 in a few weeks, which will be about the upper armor body. Interacting with my videos really helps me out since I'm trying to get monetized, so please check out my other videos and interact with them as well.